Hey, greetings everyone, and thank you for joining us here on Hespoke Fashion. I am your host, the one and only Daylon Thomas, and this evening we'll explore a topic centered on a viral moment brought to us by the illustrious R&B star, Toni Braxton. Now, while many of you may already be familiar with this moment, I would like to ensure that those who are not fully informed are brought up to speed. So let's get to it. Now, as many celebrated Mother's Day this past weekend, others marked the occasion by graduating from college. Now, guys, this significant milestone represents the culmination of 4 or 5 years of dedicated study, navigating the halls of higher education, and ultimately earning a degree that serves as a gateway to their professional careers. Now, while many ceremonies have coincided with Mother's Day over the past few years, this particular occasion should not exclusively focus on mothers. I'll tell you why. Well, instead, it is dedicated to graduates, whether one is graduating from esteemed institutions such as Duke University, for instance, or maybe even Mercer University, or perhaps the University of Dayton. See, the emphasis of this day rightfully belongs to the graduates. Wouldn't you agree? So parents should endeavor to prioritize their children's achievements. However, you know, guys, some may argue that the importance of Mother's Day should take precedence and be acknowledged in honor of mothers everywhere. Now, one individual who exemplifies this and this particular argument, I would say, is Toni Braxton, as she ensured that the spotlight during her son's graduation from Howard University remained on her. Now, how did she accomplish this? Well, let's examine her choice of attire for the occasion. All right, guys, Toni Braxton certainly made a noteworthy impression with her controversial yet daring fashion choice. Now, while her intent remains unclear, it arguably overshadowed her son's achievements. Now, more significantly, her attire conveyed a message to both fashion enthusiasts and advocates of decency. Now, guys, what exactly was that message? Now, before we move further into our discussion, AB, please share our disclaimer. So, guys, you see the disclaimer, and you know that at Hespoke Fashion, our mission is to inspire fashion enthusiasts to maintain a standard that not only enhances personal appearance, but also motivates and influences others to do the same. Now, this journey may evoke a range of emotions, frustration at times, yet also joy. But guys, our primary objective is to prevent more than harm. Now, fashion serves as a powerful medium for self-expression, and while expressing oneself is vital, it is equally important to consider how one's expression may impact others. Now, through this platform, we strive to offer valuable insights into the fashion choices of both celebrities and everyday individuals, encouraging thoughtful reflection on style and influence. Now, I encourage you guys to consider the implications of that statement regarding your impact on others as we go through this actual live here. Now, how do my fashion choices affect those around me? I wonder whether Toni Braxton has contemplated this question. Because while it is true that many individuals may not be mindful of their impact on others, it is important to recognize, and hear me close, guys, that everyone inevitably leaves an impression regardless if you're aware of it or not. Now, I'm not alone in my sentiments, because comedian Corey Holcomb has also expressed similar views on this matter. Let's watch.
Because in society, everybody does what they want to do. We are not a tight-knit society. Let me give you an example. This is such an, oh my God, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe, does she even notice this? I want to talk about Toni Braxton. I can't believe that you would go to your son's graduation this way. I remember when I went to my brother's wedding and everybody was trying to take pictures of me. And I felt so weird. Yeah. I was like, it's his wedding. My brother and his wife is right there. Why is the line to take pictures with me? Right. There's no protocol. You get what I mean?
Right. People don't go, hey, Corey, I would love to take a picture. Can we, maybe on the way out and
Yeah.
afterwards,
Yeah.
something like that, right? People don't want to, they just don't want to.
You don't know respect. You don't know
practice it.
protocol. This is why society is in chaos like it is. And I'm saying, like, this is an example of how society is failing.
No.
This is her at the graduation. And that's one of the pictures that I really was tripping on. But
Is that at the school or
look,
is that
this
a
is the
private
second
party?
picture I want
I
them
mean,
to
not
show.
that it's okay, but
this is
I'm
the
trying to
second
figure
picture I
that out.
want them to show. Make
Where's
sure
that
Abe
at?
has that picture. Abe, that's the picture you have. You don't have the other one, right?
That's wild.
Well,
No, this is her at her son's graduation. And you want to talk about the deterioration of society. The deterioration of society. This is an example of it. When you are at your son's graduation like that. And we're not even going to talk about her age
What's she, sick?
and her illness.
What's wrong with her?
she's got
never
a
mind.
sickle cell, isn't it? Is it sickle cell? I think it is.
Here's the picture.
Oh, wow, no.
Do you see that at her son's graduation like that? This is why society is in chaos, because I bet nobody there who is a loved one of her is going to say, you're really dressed inappropriately for a graduation ceremony of your son.
Wow.
I don't care if you're an R&B singer. I don't care if you're a stripper. You ain't got no business showing up like that at your son's graduation. Doesn't that gown say Howard?
It could have been a.
They should have escorted her out.
Wow.
They should have escorted her out. Like, what is wrong with you, ma'am? There's a graduation for this young man.
All right, guys, now that you've heard Corey Holcomb and the 5150 team's perspectives, regardless of your agreement with their delivery, it is undeniable that their points merit discussion. Now, Holcomb notably referenced the cultural climate and what the current cultural climate is, where individuals do what they want, citing Toni Braxton as a pertinent example. Now, there were individuals who believed that the 5150 team presented several valid arguments. For example, there was this comment which illustrates their perspective. This commenter says, they wouldn't be able to graduate wearing that, but she can wear it to the graduation.
Stop the cap.
I'm not making it up. You see it right there. Now, this other commenter shared, Toni should not have dressed like that at his graduation. That's not a good look. Shaking my head. Toni got lupus, just like that person does. Well, I guess they kind of felt a bit of, empathy for her. Yes, that's the correct word. Now, another commenter stated that the dress wasn't that bad to really talk about it that much, but I definitely wouldn't want my mother to wear that to my graduation. Let her live on this one, Corey. Okay, that's a good comment there. Let her live. I agree. This commenter shared, Corey right on with the Toni Braxton thing. And they're going to hate the same way they hated on Felicia Rashad for speaking the truth. He spot blank on. The Jezebel spirit got them mad at the truth. Now, I guess the they, well, you guys tell me, who do you think the they is in that comment? He said they're going to come against him just like they did when Felicia Rashad spoke out. All right, another commenter stated that Corey is 100% right. I knew a young girl in her late 20s that went to her mother's 60th birthday celebration with a sheer see-through outfit. And she didn't think it was inappropriate. That's all in caps. Oh, wow. These people are out of their mind. All right, let's one final comment, AB. Let's get to this one. This commenter says, blank Corey was spot on with his commentary on Toni Braxton. That was gospel right there. From the grad attire to how the sun turned out. This is the deterioration of society. Now, guys, the term deterioration of society, if you don't agree with me, but I believe it to be a very powerful statement. Now, as noted, Corey contends that this phenomenon signifies a more extensive decline within our society. Now, while some may consider this assertion to be exaggerated, it is worth delving deeper into this narrative. Now, first of all, clothing often reflects broader societal values. Now, first of all, if society becomes excessively materialistic, the fashion industry may increasingly prioritize wealth, status, and then superficial beauty. Now, this shift could signify a departure from deeper values such as community, responsibility, and even humility. It is evident that within the Black community, these values have significantly diminished. Let me hear from you if you agree or disagree. Secondly, some argue that overly casual or provocative attire in traditionally formal settings such as schools or places of worship. Now, they argue that this casual attire or this provocative attire, again, in these particular places, reflect a wanting respect for established institutions and traditions. Now, as shared norms erode, the fabric of social cohesion may grow increasingly tenuous. For instance, the phenomenon, and you guys are going to get mad at me, but go ahead, of dress down Sundays, because I know you're going tomorrow, has led many churches to adopt a more relaxed and secular approach to their worship services. If you don't believe me, I encourage you to observe this trend firsthand. Let's watch. Where them fans at? Listen, I can't make it up. You saw it with your own eyes. Now, we once believed that the Black church represented the final barrier to fully embracing the offerings of this culture. However, this assumption is now being called into question. Wouldn't you agree? Lastly, while clothing alone does not precipitate societal failure, it can reflect, amplify, or symbolize deeper social issues, including moral confusion, a loss of shared identity, and economic disparity. Now, it is essential to look beyond the surface and consider the values expressed through our attire, as well as the underlying currents that inform these expressions. Now, another thing that Corey Holcomb mentioned in this clip was the fact that someone should have said something. As a matter of fact, his exact words were, "I bet nobody there who is a loved one of hers is going to say, you really dress inappropriately for a graduation ceremony of your son." Now, I happen to agree with Corey in that there would be nobody, loved one, or even her enemies that would tell her that she was dressed inappropriately. Now, guys, brothers, I know you're going to help me out with this. I know you agree with me when I say that none of us would ever venture to attempt to tell a woman to her face that we did not think that what they were wearing was appropriate. What'd you say, Grogu? Neither would you? I know you're right, my friend. Now, many have tried to say to the Black woman, and many have been counseled for the mere attempt to correct a Black woman. So now then, can we say to Black women that they should dress how they want to be addressed? Let me say that again. You should want to dress like you want to be addressed. Now, we can't, and therein lies the problem. But not to sound too anecdotal, there is a way, and it is a question that we are addressing in the final moments of the show. And that is, the question is, should modern Black women follow a dress code? Now, guys, I'm going to take a quick prayer before we go into the further part of this conversation. But while I'm going into prayer and warfare, let's take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back, all right?
Fashion at a distance. Oh yeah. Distance. Oh yeah. Retro, trendy, vintage, classic fashion instead. Sexy, savage, vixen, not only to mention. Oh yeah. Fashion at a distance.
Amen. Okay, all right. Listen, guys, I urge you to consider the following perspective. Now, there is substantial evidence that the voices and opinions of men are often met with intolerance, resulting in severe repercussions, including cancellation. Consequently, implementing a dress code emerges as a necessary course of action. Now, guys, it is important to recognize that sexualized attire in professional environments can lead to gender-specific dress codes. Now, this occurs because employees frequently utilize dress codes to cultivate a specific image or to adhere to industry standards. Now, guys, we have observed that various institutions and organizations have already begun implementing dress codes to do what? Safeguard their brands. Now, guys, I will address this news in greater detail in a future video. But I must express that if the Fringe Film Festival can establish a dress code to safeguard its image and its brand, then why can't we adopt similar measures to protect the Black community? Now, I know you're going to get a sermon tomorrow, but I'm going to give you one tonight. Just kidding. Now, guys, listen, why can't we consider implementing a dress code to safeguard our daughters who are significantly influenced by public figures such as Toni Braxton? Additionally, how can we protect our young men who, guys, catch me on this, may develop a distorted perception of women's attire and treatment based on their mother's dress choices? Now, guys, you may not believe, but there is a correlation between a child's observations and their subsequent behavior towards others. However, a child's initial exposure to gender dynamics frequently occurs within the family context, particularly through interactions with their parents. Guys, for instance, if a boy is raised by a mother who is respected, assertive, and dresses modestly, or even conservatively, it can significantly shape his understanding of gender roles and influence how he treats others. Now, he may develop an internal perspective of women as dignified individuals deserving of respect, rather than being valued solely for their appearance. Now, that's if his mother dresses modestly. However, listen, if a boy is raised by a mother who is sexualized, submissive, or frequently objectified, whether by others or even by herself, he may adopt a more superficial or transactional view of women. Though this is not always the case. I want to point that out. It's not always the case. But a mother who prioritizes appearance over character, or whose self-worth is contingent upon male approval, guys, she may inadvertently convey the notion that women should be judged primarily by their looks. Now, conversely, a mother who exemplifies confidence, who exemplifies independence and self-respect, irrespective of her attire, can foster a deeper appreciation for women's full humanity. Thus, a mother's behavior and presentation can exert a significant subconscious influence on her son's perceptions. Now, I understand that this perspective of adopting a dress code may seem harsh, and I concur that a universal dress code will likely be impractical and ineffective in achieving our goals. However, I propose to you guys that you establish a personal dress code. Now, we've gone from what a universal dress code would look like, but now we're going to a personal dress code. Now, what would this entail? So, guys, let me tell you, it involves setting your own standards for attire based on what you deem appropriate and firmly adhering to those standards regardless of cultural trends or pressures from society. Now, should modern Black women follow a dress code? Let me tell you a story. Story time music, AB. Now, guys, for the sake of remaining anonymous, I'm going to change the name of the characters in this story that was shared with me by a good friend of mine. Now, guys, this young woman, Jada, had always known how to turn heads. Now, from high school, hallways to college parties, she dressed to stun. Tight jeans, low necklines, heels that clicked with confidence. She liked the attention, at least at first. It made her feel seen, desired, in control. But by 25, things felt different. Jada had earned her degree in communications and was trying to break into PR, but the interview stalled after the smiles. You got personality, one recruiter said, eyes flicking downward. You'd be great at events. Even outside work, things weren't better. She was tired of being someone's fun phase or late night text. Now, when she brought up goals, values, or wanting more, the guys ghosted or grew cold. Now, one night, after yet another letdown, she looked at herself in the mirror, not in judgment, but in truth. She didn't regret her past, but she wanted a future that reflected more than her body. Guys, she opened her laptop and typed a new phrase into her journal. Lead with intention and not with assumption. Lead with attention, not with assumption. That became her motto. She didn't stop being stylish. Jada loved fashion too much for that, but she began to dress with more structure, more balance, blazers with edge, tailored trousers that highlighted her silhouette without giving everything away. Her makeup stayed bold, but now it emphasized her eyes, not just her lips. All right. And so, guys, she wore a fitted emerald green blazer over a crisp blouse and wide leg pants. Now, the panel didn't ask her about events. They asked about strategy. Guys, she landed the job in corporate branding. The attention from men changed too. It didn't disappear, but it deepened. Conversations lasted longer. Guys, a man named Elijah, who she met at a networking event, he said it best over coffee. You dress like someone who's already where she's going. Did you get that? They talked for hours about legacy, about mentorship, about building something bigger than themselves. 2 years later, Jada wasn't just working in PR. She was leading her own team, mentoring interns and hosting workshops for young women on self-image and even on branding. Her style had become part of her voice, not armor, not bait, but expression. Guys, the moral of the story is this. Jada didn't change to appease others. She changed to align her presentation with her purpose. The provocative clothes weren't the problem. It was that they told a story that no longer matched who she was becoming. When she defined herself, she stopped letting others define her. And that changed everything. Should modern black women adhere to a dress code? While it may not be necessary for everyone collectively, individuals might find that doing so provides them with a distinct advantage. Ladies, the choice is yours. Family, listen, we have now come to the end of the show, and I appreciate you for continuing to rock with Hespoke Fashion. Now, I really enjoyed you all, and I hope that you enjoyed the show as well. Now, if you like this content, please do me a favor, hit the like button, and share this with someone else. Let me know what you think about this topic. I want to hear from you in the comments, all right? What do you think about it? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have one more thing I would like to ask of you. Yeah, I get it. Listen. I would like to extend an invitation for you to subscribe to my new YouTube channel, where we will have a fantastic time and engage in interactive participation. Now, you have expressed interest, and we have responded to your request. Here's what I would like you to do. Please email me a photo of you in your favorite, get this, Gucci attire. Come on, can you say Gucci with me? Hey guys, listen. If you Email me and share this. You have a chance to win prizes, including cash awards. Now, all month long, I'll be looking at my Gucci because it's about that time. Guys, listen, additionally, you may have the opportunity to join me on the show to showcase your fashion sense. Now, the email address should be displayed on the screen. Yes, the email address is right here. And I want you guys to take that email address down, AB. Just leave it up there for a few moments. That's DaylineThomas6@gmail.com. DaylineThomas6@gmail.com. Now, guys, let's take a moment to revisit our commercial. All right? If you would, AB, please, let's roll it.
Fashion at a distance, distance, distance. Oh yeah. Distance, distance, distance. Oh yeah. Retro, trendy, vintage, classic fashion instant. Sexy, savage, vixen, not only to mention. Oh yeah. Fashion at a distance.
All right, guys, listen, that's all I have for you tonight. I want you to have a good night, good fashion, and remember, he spoke fashion to you. See you next time. Hope you'll be back to join us. All right?